Hello and welcome back. This is MC1 Gamer bringing you, hey, another video. This is going to be a video just with some static images of my Patreon account, which is kind of sparse. I mean, I have a lot of videos uploaded into it. Haven't really kept up with it that much, but I only have a few people that have followed me and become patrons of my channel. But the if you don't know, if you're not part of the YouTubers community or you're not a follower of the various content providers from the YouTuber community, Vince Ventrello puts out a video pretty much weekly, which is the topic of the week, and he poses a question. Sometimes it's very relevant, current events or things that may have happened, or sometimes it's just a topic that would be interesting to converse about. And sometimes they really they elicit a real serious response, and sometimes they're just goofy and fun, and sometimes they just there's a sparse amount of responses. This one's gotten a lot of responses from people because there's quite a few of us that put out content as a community. We're not very big, but there's a good group that regularly put various different types of content out, and some of us have Patreon accounts. Some of us put little donation elements to our videos. There's some of us that put monetization in our YouTube videos, and there's some that don't do any of this, and they do it all for various different reasons, and none of them are wrong. And there's been a lot of commentary. I think there's probably been about at least a half a dozen responses to this topic or more, and I watched all of them. I think there's really good points made by all of them. Some very concerned and really good points, like the one that was the one that was made by Ant. He has an MBA in I think it's business, and I don't. So I hear his points and I see them, and I think he brings up some really good ones, some very serious ones. And you should go ahead and take a look at his HR channel and view it for yourself. I mean, I'm sure that if you're a follower of mine, you're probably a follower of his, because Ann is one of the guys who actually helped me get, he was one of the people that inspired me to start up a YouTube channel. And a lot of, we happen to live not too far from each other, and we've met up quite a few times to play, and we're involved in the same club. We frequent some of the same stores. But he's been pretty supportive, and I would venture to guess that there's a good portion of my followers that I wouldn't have if he didn't appear on some of my videos, or if I didn't showcase him on some of mine, and he didn't mention me quite often on his. But he made some really good points that I kind of agree with. But I think that everybody made some really good points in terms of the idea of open market, not being alarmist, and the idea that it's not that big of a deal. So just to go over it a little bit, this week's topic is about monetization and content, and the question is what do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? Are you concerned about it? Are you concerned about people potentially charging for content, or a small community? How do you go about it? Maybe my part may be part of it. So I figured I'd go and I'd share where I am and what my philosophy is. And my philosophy is basically this: first of all, if you're not doing it because it's part of the hobby, if you're doing it because you think you're going to open up a business, or you're going to fuel your hobby, you're probably doing it wrong. Sure, there may be some breakout people that might do pretty well with that, and maybe one of us in the crowd might become a future star and make a business and change the way the YouTube community for tabletop wargaming and Warhammer in particular is played. Maybe all that might come to pass. I don't know. I don't envision it right now. We're all really just doing it as an extension of our hobby. That's how I look at it. I look at it as this is an extension of my hobby. If you enjoy the content that I provide, if you think there's a value in it, and you're clicking the like button, if you're watching it from start to finish, I've done my job. I've done my job right. And it's not really a job because it's really just an add-on to the hobby. It's a way for me to communicate with other people with like interests. It's a way for me to voice my opinions on things. It's a way for me to give back to others who do the same. It's just having a voice. But one of the great things about it is that I've met a lot of people and connected with a lot of people who I might never have, and they have similar interests to me, not just in playing these various games and in but there's there's a connection. There's I've learned things from people. I've learned better techniques on how to paint, specifically from Vince's series, but from many other people. I've learned tactics and strategy going back to 8th edition, watching Once Bitten, watching some great stuff from Malorian, watching tons of stuff, of course, from Ant when he had the Sustainable Center, just consuming large amounts of these videos while I was painting, while I was hobbying, while I was doing mundane tasks, sometimes just sitting on the bowl, which I'm sure plenty of you have done, just listening to stuff in the car, listening while I'm mowing the lawn, when I'm doing whatever. And it's something that I found very interesting, and I wanted to do it also. And I've decided I wanted to give back to the community. But there's time that's involved in producing content. There's expense. Some people go to very long, go travel distances to meet up. Like I know Remy travels quite far to meet up with Andy out in the UK. But there's other people that they'll buy a better webcam, and that costs money. And yeah, it's just an extension of the hobby and the expense if you really want to do it. I don't look at really. I would love to make a business out of it, but I don't have any expectation that that's going to happen. You got to have not dreams necessarily, but you have to have ideas, and throw. You have to throw your hat in the ring sometimes and hope that maybe those realities might come to pass. They'll never come to pass if you don't try. My personal feeling is if I can make a little side business out of it, that would be great. But I'm not really building towards that. I'm just really just enjoying myself and having a good time, and learning, and then presenting the things that I've learned to others and helping to build the community and share with added content. Now, along the way, if there are people that decide, hey, I think there's value to this content, and they want to provide me with, some kind of a tip, like a tip in a tip jar, like Lord Tremendous suggested. I think that's a great thing. It's an option. It's not a imposition. I don't believe in paywalls and proprietary content. That's me personally. I do not judge anybody else who tries to do that. If you can make it work, if you can become like the next Beasts of War or Mini War Gaming, more power to you. I'm concerned about becoming the next wargaming for fun. These guys were, exactly that. They were wargaming for fun, and they had tried to build a business out of it. And, once they got involved with something that their followers were not interested in or had some issues with, and you never really can predict what those types of things are going to be, that business fell apart, and it had a huge impact on their hobby. You could tell from their videos at the tail end and some of the update videos that they did. I think that would be crushing to me if you finally are on that path where you're building something, and on a whim it could go away, and that could really hurt your hobby. And I just rather stay a civilian rather than go pro. That's pretty much the motto here. I would rather be a civilian than go pro. Maybe I should put that on a T-shirt. So if you want to find a motto or a real insight into how I feel about this, there you go. But the way I look at it is I can monetize my ads. I know most of that revenue is going to YouTube. I really kind of feel it would be fun to get a check from Google. I haven't even got my first $100 check. If you don't know how it works, you put out content, and based on whatever their secret sauce algorithmic methodology is, they eventually build up of enough value, whatever their CPM calculations are that only they know, based on the views, based on the time spent watching and whatever, they'll eventually assess a value that in your account. And when you get to $100, apparently they send you a check. I have not gotten to that point yet. I'm close, but I would like to have that just to say I did, just to be part of that club. I think that's like a milestone. I know there's some people that have gotten more. They've gotten, $100 or $200 a month or more just from YouTube videos, straight from, the monetization, that aspect. I really, I don't expect, and nobody should, unless you've got, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers that you're going to be able to generate any real income. I've been doing this now a couple of years, and I haven't gotten my first $100 check. So, and again, it's just a goofy thing. It's a weird, interesting piece that I'd like to be able to bring up in conversation and laugh about. And maybe it's that one general milestone that, yeah, I got paid at some point for all this activity. Does it matter that it was like probably 0.00 cents, 2 cents, per hour? No, but it's still an idea that I got a paycheck of some kind, $100. At some point I got something, and maybe that's that's that exclusive club that we can all laugh about. Hey, I was able to do that. I was able to get to that point. But beyond that, I look at people who may like my content, want to see me do more of it. Maybe sometimes there's a person out there that may want to see improvements in the quality of the content. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I heard that Chaihammer, who's a big ninth age content provider, he puts out a lot of battle reports, goes to events, wants to go on a trip overseas and go to some tournament. I don't know the full details, but I heard that's one of the things that kind of precipitated this. I don't think anybody looks at that negatively, but my feeling, he asked his followers, his viewers, if they would want to contribute to that, and he would document it. I think that's great. I want to go to the UK. I want to go visit. I want to go see Warhammer World. I want to visit some of the guys that I communicate with on a regular basis in merry old England. I want to go and participate in some of these events overseas. I want to go to some of these big events here in the U.S. where I'm located. I'm in the Northeast. I'm in North Jersey, but there's big events. I want to go to Adepticon. I want to go to the Las Vegas Open. I'd love to do that. I don't think I'm going to ask anybody personally for money, but if you're a content provider and you do, and people contribute, why not? If they enjoy your content and they want to give you a buck here, a buck there, or whatever else it is, great. There's nobody's strangling, them or twisting their arm to do it. I'm going to say it right now. Anybody who wants to go into Patreon, look me up. I'm MC1 Gamer. You want to improve the quality of my image? I want to get a new webcam? Go for it. Send me a buck. If you want to send me to, help me contribute to more, more events and more shows, get me on the road a little more. I go to lots of shows and I provide, videos so you can see what they're like. I go to stores and I give reviews on them. I just show. I mean, they don't even ask me sometimes. I do it. I say it's okay, just so that people know that there's more locations out there, sometimes really cool locations, and usually they're pretty thrilled. It's free marketing for them, but I don't do it expecting anything in return. I just do it because it's like, we're all interconnected here, and it's a larger community with lots of different people that do different things. Sometimes you're a local store, your friendly local store. Sometimes you're a distributor. Sometimes you're a painter that's painting full time. But most of the time, you're just fellow gamers, looking for a location, looking for other gamers to play with, and hoping maybe to find a organized event or not, or just a bunch of people, to do it in your garage or your basement or your, whatever location you can find, if not the actual game store. And if that's what you enjoy, and if we're all reaching out and connecting and sharing the information about where to go, what to do, what's a cool location, what events coming up, hey, here's some secrets on how to hobbying, tactics, tutorials on how to paint, how to use things like I do with my Convert This series with green stuff or magnetization or whatever. I do a whole bunch of that stuff. I watch so many other people that do it. I get a lot out of it. If you think that that's valuable and you want to put a tip in the tip jar, go for it. Why not? I don't see anything wrong with that. If you're going to go to the extra mile, and I say this to any aspiring content providers, and decide that you want to put up an organized website and have a second tier system with proprietary content, and hey, if you can make that work, great. If you can make this a living, great. I think you should have realistic expectations, but I don't want to kill anyone's dreams. And I don't think that most people are going to listen to me, nor should they. If you really feel that you have an idea, maybe you know something, maybe you're smarter than me. There's plenty of people that are, and I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box. If you're more entertaining, if you're more charismatic, and you just have an idea that nobody else has done and you want to go in a different direction, go for it. Or if you're just looking to try and improve your channel and you've got enough viewers that want to go ahead and provide you with a buck here, a buck there, why not? I think that's wonderful too. I have 5 patrons, and one I just got within the last, I think, 24 or 48 hours. I've got 5 patrons that provide me with a couple of bucks, and I don't think I've gotten even maybe $100 from patrons since I first joined it. And what did I do with that? I put it towards materials to improve the channel. I got a better microphone. I got one of these. I think it's the Snowball. I think it was the microphone. I needed a better mic. I needed a good, better quality mic for better quality sound. I want to do the same thing with the so I can have a widescreen HD webcam, so that people could see my ugly mug a little bit better. But these are the types of things that I put it towards. If I don't see anything wrong with that, I don't see anything wrong with anybody else's methodology. There is no wrong answer. And why? Look, I don't have an MBA in business. I know enough about economics to know that the free market is what you make of it. If somebody's willing to pay something and you're putting out a product and somebody wants to give you however much money, that's how much it's worth. Could it be worth more? Yeah, maybe you can dress it up a little bit, put a bow on it, go a little, extra further, a little extra mile, and perhaps maybe it might become worth more, and then build on that. And maybe you might have build it into an actual business. The way I look at it is, if it's a couple of bucks here or there, however little it is, and it helps me put better content out or just continue to do it, I'm happy to do it. And if nobody sent me one friggin' penny, then so what? That would be fine too. There's no obligation. That's me personally, and I have no judgment on anyone else that is putting out content or trying to get a few dollars to try and offset some of the effort and time that they're putting in. Ultimately, and this is my suggestion to anybody out there who's looking to start up a YouTube channel: have no expectations. Don't expect anything from your viewers. Make sure your viewers don't have any huge expectations even from you. We're all fairly remedial at this. We're not media moguls. None of us. If we were, we'd be doing a whole lot different. We'd be working at a different level with millions of viewers, and probably doing something different professionally than what we really are doing. What we're really doing here is just connecting, communicating, sharing our ideas and our thoughts, and listening to yours as well. And hopefully that's a proper, educated, and adult-like discourse. Sometimes, hey, it's the internet. It degenerates into nastiness and vulgarity and anger and rage. But you know what? For as far as my channel is concerned, hey, it's my channel. It's not my job. I don't work for anyone. Anybody who's providing me with a buck in the tip jar, they're doing it because they like it, and I don't want them to expect anything more from me. That being said, somebody said, hey, I'd love to throw this towards the effort to see more of certain types of content, I would be sure to listen. If somebody wanted more conversion type episodes, I would be sure to listen. If somebody said, I'd love for you to start up a particular type of an army, or go in a specific direction with terrain, and provide more content like that, and they wanted to provide me with some kind of recompense or tip or funds to make that happen, hell yeah, I would do it. Why not? Why not? I mean, when at the end of the day, it's not going to amount to much. It's not going to be a tremendous amount of money, and it's not going to be a huge effort in order to accommodate them. But if it makes them happy and it facilitates that need, and I'm enjoying myself doing it, fine. Again, it's not a business. This is just part of the hobby. And if somebody wants to try and ask his community, his followers, hey, I want to go to Europe, or I want to go on this big trip, and I would love for you guys to try to help me make it happen. And as a something to offset that, to make you guys happy, I will provide with additional content. I will provide battle reports and and a a video log of my trip, and show you some of the sites and whatever. Look, we can't all get out there and do that. I'd love to go on a trip like that, and maybe I will. That's certainly on my list to go and do something like that. And I don't know if I would even ask anybody to contribute, but I wouldn't say no. But if not everybody gets an opportunity to do that or is in a position to do it, and if the viewers value your content enough to kind of throw you a few bucks to help you do it, hey, I think that's fantastic. So I just don't think we should be negative about it. I don't think we should be too critical about it. I do very much respect probably the most conservative and concerned viewpoint that was displayed by Ant, where just the concern that of where it might go, of the genie kind of getting let out of the bottle if everybody starts trying to assign dollars to the content, and then it becomes almost an arms race, and it becomes then a situation where you're beholden now to your your donors. If it gets to that point, I don't think it's going to be the kind of thing where it's a brush fire and a spread all around the community. I think that's maybe a little bit over concern. I do see some of the points. I do respect the points. There's certainly valid points, but I just don't think we're a big enough community. I don't think there's enough of it out there for people that want to contribute to the content providers, where it's really going to get to that point. I certainly don't see it myself. I don't expect it, but hey, I do appreciate it. So I appreciate even more than that. I appreciate people who engage in the discourse, who who subscribe, who follow, and that's as much fun as I need to make this worthwhile. Even if you don't, hey, if people don't like the content, they're not going to watch. And guess what? If they don't like it enough to go and donate, they're not going to do that either. So it's really an open market type situation. The market bears what the market bears, and if your value is enough that somebody wants to dip into their wallet or their pocketbook and provide you with some kind of some payment for the pleasure of that it ensued from them watching your videos and whatever content you put up on YouTube or wherever, well, I think that's valuable, and everybody walked away pretty happy in that situation. Yeah, it's kind of like the guy in the subway, with his guitar out and his guitar case filled with change and a couple of dollar bills, and people walking by hearing him strumming at the guitar and throwing a buck in before they on their way to and from work or wherever they're going. I think that's great. I don't think anybody gets hurt. And hey, whatever your opinion is, feel free to share it. And if you have a differing opinion, hey, that's good too. But I do appreciate everybody who goes and follows my channel, engages in the conversation, and makes it an enjoyable experience for me beyond just the people that I communicate with on a regular basis. These types of dialogues really what make this community great. So a couple of bucks here or there are not going to, I don't think it's going to break it. I don't think it's going to hurt it. I don't think it matters. So take it for what you will, and have a great day, everybody.